I've taught over 1,000 guitar students and they keep making the same sorts of mistakes over and over again. You want to see what they are, or just hang out to find out? So I'm going to give you 5 main things that I've seen students do time after time, which really severely hampers their progress. And we're going to go through these and break them down. Thing number 1 is control. Control is one of the most important aspects of your playing, and people do not put enough emphasis on control. Now, what do I mean by control? I mean, you want to get it, whatever you're playing, to sound absolutely as good as you possibly can. Now, that might seem really obvious, but so many students I hear play something, they go, yep, there you go. And I go, yeah, you're playing it, but you're not playing it. There's a difference between playing something okay, even playing something well, and playing something really well, right? When you listen to top players, it doesn't matter who they are, Clapton, Robin Ford, Eric Johnson, all those guys, the way they play every note is bang on. And when I've talked to top players, they've said to me every note they play is with passion. And it doesn't matter whether they're playing in front of one person or they're playing in front of 3,000 people. They play with the same amount of passion. You need to put that passion into your music all the time, right? And to get that passion, you need control. Let's take a simple phrase like this. That's very Albert King. Now, when I'm playing that, I'm really thinking about every note. Right? I'm thinking there about how much volume I'm putting on the note. I'm trying to think about the timing. Right? I'm thinking about where I'm putting stress. Okay? Then when I go to, I'm putting a little rake on that. And the way I'm bending it with passion. You've got to put passion in there. Okay? Now, the next note is this chord to tone bend. Right? So it's got a lot of character to it. And then I'm thinking about the vibrato at the end. Because the thing about the guitar is there's so many little nuances that you can put on the guitar. There's so many little variables to think about. You can't think about all these variables, but you've got to really control very tightly the variables that you're thinking about. Right? Now, every time you play it, think, does that sound absolutely exactly how I want it to? And if it doesn't, go back and tweak it, right? And record yourself playing, right? Record yourself playing and listen back to it then, because you'll listen to it in a different way. Thing number 2, practice routine, right? You've heard about practice routines and you've tried lots of different practice routines. Some have worked, some haven't worked, right? Now, the number one reason practice routines don't work is because of consistency. Pupils are not consistently practicing them. When I teach pupils, I almost always give them a practice routine which is related to their specific needs, right? And I say, right, go away and do this. They come back the next week. Have you done your practice routine? Well, the first thing I say is, what is your practice routine? And they go, hang on, I've got it written down. No. You've got to remember it, okay? You can have it written down, but it should be in your head. You should know exactly what you're doing with your practice routine. So if my pupils go, hang on, I'll have to look at my bit of paper, I know they haven't really got it wired. Your practice routine really should be done every day, right? Or a minimum of 5 days out of 7, okay? That's really important. The way you grow neural pathways in your brain means that you need to do things consistently or they don't really stick. It's no good doing your practice routine one day and then leaving it 4 days and then doubling up on it. You've got to be doing it consistently. And the practice routine has to be very well organized. It has to be realistic. If you only got half an hour to practice a day, the practice routine, maybe you make that 15 minutes. If you're practicing 4 hours a day, you could have a 2-hour practice routine, right? And that needs to be focused on the things that you want to improve on. I've got lots of things on my Patreon page about how to develop practice routines, but having a consistent practice routine is absolutely key. One of the number one things I see that's stalling pupils' progress is not being consistent enough with their practice routines. And the ones that are consistent, They just fly. I just see it all the time. They just keep doing it and they just get better and better and better, right? And once you get into it and you believe that the practice routine works, then you keep doing them because you know they work. You trust the process. Number 3, unrealistic expectations. Some pupils come to me and they say, right, this is how I want to play, right? And I go, right, well, that's fine, but that's going to be a lot of work getting there. A good example, a student came to me and he showed me a video of Eric Johnson blasting away on something. And he said, this is how I want to play. Now, this guy was kind of just past beginner, I suppose. And he was probably about 50, 60, something like that. And I said, okay, right. So I said, you set the bar very high here, but that's okay. How much practice time would you have per day? And he said, well, I can give about 15 to 20 minutes per day. Now, those expectations are completely unrealistic. And all that's going to happen is that guy is going to get disappointed. So I gently had to tell him that, if he practiced 8 hours a day for the next 10 years, he might get somewhere near Eric Johnson. So you've got to be realistic about your expectations, and that way you'll get success and you'll be happy and you'll want to continue playing. I expand on a lot of these concepts over on my Patreon channel. It only costs a cup of coffee a month. Lots of people signing up to that. Check it out. The link is below. 4th thing, people do not listen to enough music. Often if somebody's learning a solo, the first thing I'll say is, can you hum it? And I'll say, what do you mean? I'll say, can you hum the solo all the way through, right? You've got to be able to do that. You've got to have it totally in your head. How on earth can you play something if you haven't got it in your head, first of all, right? It's got to be in your head. Also, when you're creating ideas for soloing, to hear those ideas first and then try and replicate them with your fingers, right? You've got to have the knowledge in your head. And you're only going to get that from listening to a ton of music. So you should be listening to a ton of music, right? That's how I'm playing The Thrill Is Gone, the intro from The Thrill Is Gone. When I'm playing it, I'm singing it in my head. So I'm... Right, now that might not be exactly the same as B.B. King's doing it. Maybe my brain's morphed it a little bit, but I'm totally, or pretty much totally happy with the way I'm playing that, the way it's coming out. I like the sounds that I'm creating, right? And I've got to that level because I've listened to the solo a lot and then I've played it then. Yeah, and then again, that's all in my head. I'm singing that as I'm playing it. I'm hearing those little microtonal bends, right? And again, it goes back to number 1, right? I'm controlling things, right? I'm trying to get it absolutely as good as I can. So listening to an absolute ton of blues stuff and listening to stuff that you want to do, right? That's really important. People listen to all sorts of stuff. I only tend to listen to the stuff that I want to recreate in my playing. There's certain music that I might like that I don't listen to because I don't have time to listen to that really. I listen to the stuff that makes a difference to my playing. And then finally, clear goal setting. When I get a new student in, the first thing I often say to people is, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Yeah. They might say, I want to play at a blues jam night. They might say, I just want to learn to solo over anything. They might say, I want to understand how the blues works, right? So there's lots of different goals that you can have. But if you haven't got a clear goal in your playing, that means it's going to be very difficult to achieve it because you haven't got one. A very common one I get is, I just want to get better. Now, when people say, I just want to get better, if they're a beginner, fair enough. But if they've been playing a while, I really won't let that one go. I say, right, okay, you want to get better, but at what areas? What do you want to get better at? Who are the sort of people that you strive to play like? Do you want to play exactly like them? Do you want to play like a mixture of them and somebody else? So having clear goals is really important, and write these goals down, right? Right, and I want to be able to do this and make them absolutely as specific as possible. It might be that you want to play a certain song, right? Or you want to play in the style of a certain song, or you want to play a certain song and then play in the style of it. Or you want to learn 10 blues tunes. Write these things down, right? Really important for your sort of mental guitar health as well, okay? Do not put a time limit on them, right? When I'm learning a difficult piece, what I don't do is go, right, I want to learn this piece in 2 months' time, whatever it is. I just think, right, I want to learn this. How am I going to do it? I follow my structure for learning something that's really difficult, and I just go through the process and I trust the process. Now, if that takes 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months or whatever, it doesn't matter. If I've decided I'm doing it, and I'm just going through the process, but I'm not putting myself under pressure to achieve something by a certain time, because that ain't going to help me. Because more likely than not, it's going to take longer than you think, and it's much better not to have set times when you want to achieve something. There you go. 5 really solid things that you should be working on in your playing that's going to really help move your playing forward. Catch you next time.